Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Chavruta sessions live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg of the Noahide World Center. I just need to make sure I've got everything streaming here properly. Seems to be. Looks okay from my vantage point. Anyways, so much going on at once, so be patient with me. Hang on, I'm going to just tune into the Rabbi and say hello. Well, shalom, Rabbi. You're live on the air. We're going to turn the class over to you, sir, and I look forward to hearing what you've got to share today.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. We're streaming also on the TV, and the new TV.
We're on 7 Noah and on Noahide World Center, YouTube, Facebook, and on my Noahide Society of Canada page all at the same time. Yeah.
Fair enough. So it's only in English this time. Fair enough. Well, we build up, there's someone in Israel here who build up a TV. Now I know that they want to move it also to other languages. Never mind. Let's go inside. Let's dive. The main thing I want to show tonight, I'm not sure it will be a long one because also of other things that other duties that I have today, but let's start. Maybe we'll manage to do all the hour. It depends also on other things. Let's start. I want to show for a moment something in the eyes of the Hebrew nation, how we read the Bible. Again, I think that there are few very essential differences with the aim and the way that we are reading the Bible. I will say something that I've heard last week from a very important rabbi in Israel, a very good friend of also Rabbi Sherki. And he said that that he met one of the big evangelist people in the United States. I think I said it last week. He met one of the big evangelists in the United States, and he asked him an advice, this rabbi, about something. He asked him advice about something between the United States and Israel. And the evangelist took down his head and he said that he is ashamed to give an advice to the rabbis, the Hebrew people, because along history, the Christian were sure that they know how to read the Bible, and they were sure also that the Hebrew nation is not is being neglected, okay, from God. And now we all know that that it's not like that. And the Hebrew nation came back and they know how to read the Bible. So how come the evangelists, can give an advice to the Hebrew people? And I think that there are, if I will try to nail the differences, we do believe that what is being called the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament is something that was written down in the era of prophecy. Now, the era of prophecy finished 600 years before the BCE, before the counting time, 600 years before that. Everything that was written down as the New Testament, what is called, is maybe a good story, maybe good ideas, maybe things, and it's also a lot of reference to the Hebrew Bible, but it's not in an era of prophecy. So again, I'm not. I don't think that you ever heard from me that I'm how do I call it? That I'm doing it with with not an honor. Okay, always I'm speaking also with an honor for things that that was being written down or whatever it is. Also with the Christians, but we need to understand the differences. So I want to show something in the Hebrew Bible that is related also with the Independence Day of the Hebrew nation. And it's also a bit related with the things that we spoke last week about how much we need to be part of, I will say, the connection with God, okay? We are partnershiping with God. There's always, I will start not from the Bible, I will start with something that is already in the Hebrew sages, and a very big difference between the Hebrew mindset and the old Greeks mindset that came after that also to the Romans and then to the Christianity. And this is a question of the flame, the fire, okay, the fire. From where man knows how to use the fire. And the fire that we have, this flame, okay, that we use it in the kitchen, okay? We use it for organizing cars, missiles, whatever it is. We saw a big accident yesterday with in the Iranian country there. It's good because not that I want to lose life of those who died, but it's good because it was this fire, this big fire that happened there in the port in Iran, was basically um, saved a lot of life of the missiles that they wanted to put this all this material inside. But never mind. The issue is that the fire is something that is managing to move, to progress, man, to control nature. And if you will go to the story of Mowgli and the jungle kids, okay, even if you know the famous story that he was grown up in the jungle until the time that the tigris came, and then he ran away with the bear, with his friend, with the bear, while the monkey is trying to catch him, and he's asking him, "Give me the secret of handling the fire." Fire is the flame, okay? The fire that we as human beings have the possibility of controlling it is one of the most important things that is distinguishing us from the world of nature and helped us to come to a stage of a lot of wisdom and to use it. So the old Greeks, we all know the big story of how exactly they had the fire. It was a big fight in the aliens, okay? And Prometheus stole the fire from the aliens and he gave it to men, and he was caught. And because of that, his punishment is to be captured in one of the mountains there in the area of India. And every day, the birds are eating one of his parts of the stomachs, and it's going out at night, and then they're eating again, whatever it is. But the main assumption of this idea is that there is some sort of a fight or some sort of a clash between the aliens and the human being. So the human being, to come to a stage of managing and controlling nature, they need to steal something from the aliens. Okay, it's not that they have some sort of partnership, both of those, the aliens and men. They have more. It's not a fight. It's like a competition between the aliens and the human being. You understand what I'm saying, Bart? I think I'm trying to be clear. It's some sort of a competition. The aliens have this knowledge how to control fire. Someone is stealing it from the aliens and giving it also to the human being. And because of that, he is going to be punished, because it was supposed to be a secret of the aliens, not something for the human being. Now the human being is upgrading themselves to another stage to become just almost like the aliens. Right? This is a story. We all know this story. What is the story of the Hebrew nation? It's a different story. The story of the Hebrew nation, and I want to, maybe I was supposed to organize it up front. It's written down in the Midrash, okay? The Midrash is saying like that. Man, in the seventh day, he did the sin. We all know he did the sin, right? God told him not to eat from the tree of good and bad, and he ate from this tree. So he did the sin, and God was really annoyed. And on one side, he gave him clothings, even though he did the sin. And then he sent him out from the Garden of Eden. And man went out from the Garden of Eden. And what is happening straight after that? Nightfall. And this man is saying to himself, wow, what a big mistake. From now on, there's not going to be any light here. And then he's starting to cry. Look what I did. I did a sin, and that's it. We lost the lights. And now, our sages are saying it was Saturday night, okay, the night before Sunday, that God called men, said to him, don't be afraid. You see those two stones? Go one on each other, do like that, and you will find the fire. So again, it's continuous. It's 100% continuous for the things that we spoke last week. First of all, God is not giving him all the solution. He's asking him to do an action as a partnership with God. It's not that God gave him flame. God gave him two stones, as we know, okay? With two stones, with specific stones, you can do that you will have a fire. And told him the secret how to do fire, okay? And man did it. So first of all, God is asking him to be in partnership with him, to do an action. More than that, he is not hiding from him this thing. He gave it to men. It's a different, I will say, mindset than the old Greeks. Where do we see another story like that? We all know the story about Icarus and Daedalus and Icarus. Remember the two father and son that did a very big maze, and then the aliens were a bit angry at them, and they put those two, father and son, inside the maze, and the maze was so great that they didn't find the way of going out. So what they did, they captured a few birds, and they took wax. This is a story. They can look after that on the story, okay? And they put on themselves, okay, wings with this wax. And the father said to the young son, don't try to fly high too much, because the sun will melt the wax and you will die. You will fall down. Right? Icarus and Daedalus, we all know that story. And they started to fly outside. In a moment, I'm going to explain this, all this story, and we will see how the Hebrew sages are speaking about this story. Okay? And they started to fly, and the young son, with all of his ambitions, whatever it is, wanted to get higher and higher and get closer to the sun, and to be like the aliens, high up there. But what happened when he came close to the sun? The wax melted, and he fell down straight to the water of the sea, and he died. And his father was so upset and so angry with what happened, so he also fell down to the sea and died also. And again, what do we see? Don't try too much to come to the stage of the aliens, too close to the aliens. You need to be in a bit of a distance. If you're getting too close, you might die. This is the hidden message of this story, right? What God is saying to us, and the first time that he is going to express himself and to describe himself, I will say it like that. The first time that God have all the possibilities of, he have no limits. If he wants to explain how to describe himself, he have no limits. He can say whatever he wants to say, right? Let me show you the first time that God is describing himself. Okay, it's a known one, but we can read it always. It's always good to read it again. In the chapter before the preparation of receiving the Ten Commandments, the first 6 verses, God is stating what is the mission of the Hebrew nation. The first thing is that the first thing is it's hard in the English translation. You can't read it good, But it's first of all, it's speaking about the unity of the Hebrew nation. Okay, they rejoined from the Rephaim, and they arrived to the desert of Sinai, and they encamped in the desert, and Israel encamped there opposite the mountain, where in Hebrew it says that they were in one unit. Okay, I won't go inside too much to the Hebrew. This is not the main issue. Vayichan, okay, they camped together as one unit. They didn't have any fights. And then Moses is going up to heaven and speaking with God. And now we have done. Please read verse number 4. It's very important.
Sure. Okay, verse 4 of Exodus 19. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and I brought you to me.
Okay, now, and from there on, he's also stating, you're going to be the treasure from all nations, and you're going to be the kingdom of princes for the all nations. Fair enough. We know that. But what is the meaning of eagle's wing? And we need to read Rashi for a moment, and you will see how much it's just the opposite from the story of the Dilos and Akiros, okay? Just in a different way, all totally different way. Let's read Rashi for a moment, and you will see Al Kanfei Nesharim, okay? An eagle's wing. Please read it.
Okay, on eagle's wings. Like an eagle which carries its young on its wings, for all other birds place their young between their feet, since they fear another bird flying above them. The eagle, however, fears only man, lest he shoot an arrow at it, because no other bird flies above it. Therefore it places them, its young, on its wings. It says, rather the arrow pierce me, and not my children. I, God, too, did that. Then the angel of God moved, and he came between the camp of Egypt, etc., from Exodus 14, verses 19 and 20. And the Egyptians shot arrows and catapult stones, and the cloud absorbed them.
Basically, it says here, first of all, it's hinting that God is afraid from the human being. But never mind that, okay? We spoke about this point a lot of times. God is afraid. The eagle is from what the eagle is afraid. He's afraid from the human being, from men, right? So God is describing himself of something who is afraid from men. And we explained that more than once. The meaning of this is that God decided for himself a rule, a very important rule, of giving the freedom of choice to men. Therefore, the Messiah can come in the second generation of history with Cain and Abel, but because Cain and Abel, both of them have freedom of choice, so Cain is killing Abel. So since then, we know it's a very long story. So we have the possibility of doing it short or doing it long. So God is describing himself also as a bit of fearing from human being. Never mind. This is not the issue I want to show now. I want to compare this, I will say, fascinating explanation that Rashi is bringing us with the words of eagle's wing, with the story of the Dilos and Akiros and the Dilos, okay? Where there, in this story of the ancient Greeks, that again, it came also after to the Romans and also to the Christians, there is a competition in their story between man and God. And if you will go too much high, it might bring you to a stage that you will die. Don't get close too much to God. Don't try to understand God. Don't try to manage to reach up, because the competition between those two is that the aliens will kill you. Here we're saying something else. God himself is saying, oh, my kids, my treasurer nation, I want to take them out from Egypt. The Egyptians are coming. They're in the back. They're starting to send arrows on the Hebrew people. They're starting to send missiles on the Hebrew people. So I'm going to take the cloud, me, God, and to behave like the eagle up there. The eagle is the most highest bird, okay? And the most highest place, I will keep you. I will be the shadow that will help you, will assist you in the most highest place, in the place that you're going to be in, I will say, in the place that you're going to be in the prophecy, okay? You're going to be in a very spiritual side. I'm going to help you. I'm going to assist you. It's a different story. It's an all totally different story. You see that? You're starting to realize where we're standing? Fair enough. And now I want to show two parts. I'm going to show something from Yechezkel, okay? The prophecy Yechezkel, prophet Yechezkel. And I'm going to show something from Deuteronomy. And we would like to understand it in the right way, that we, the Hebrew nation, are looking at this, and to understand how much, or to start to fix up what's happening today now in our time of history, and we will start to understand what's happening, okay, in a much clearer way. So let's start with the Cheskel. Let's start with the Cheskel, okay, the prophets. Cheskel. I want to remind us, Cheskel himself, he was thrown, okay, he was taken captured to Babylon 11 years before the before the temple destroyment, okay, and he was one of the important people there, but he was also very important prophet that explained a lot of things that happened to the Hebrew nation. And he is also prophesying that the Hebrew nation will come back, and the reason why the Hebrew nation will come back. Okay, and I want to learn with you these few verses from Cheskel chapter 36. Just a moment, something is bothering me. Okay, chapter 36, just a moment, we'll jump there. Chapter 36, and we're going to verses, Dan, prepare yourself, you're going to read. Okay. The beginning of this chapter is that the Hebrew nation will come back to their homeland. Okay. Read it after that. I want to go to verse 15. I think just a moment. 16. Okay. Please, let's read from verse 16. Let's read it. It will take a few verses, sure. And then we'll continue. Or then I will explain.
So Ezekiel was a contemporary of Daniel, correct?
Yes, they were more or less on the same time.
Period.
Yeah, same period of time. Yeah. Right. But okay. Yechezkel was, there are two different things. Fair enough. Yechezkel, please.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 16. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel, as long as they lived on their own land, they defiled it by their way and by their misdeeds. Like the uncleanness of a woman in the period of her separation was their way before me. Wherefore I poured my wrath upon them for the blood that they had shed in the land, because they had defiled it with their idols. 19. And I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and their misdeeds did I judge them. 20. And they entered the nations where they came, and they profaned my holy name, inasmuch as it was said of them, These are the people of the Lord, and they have come out of his land. 21. But I had pity on my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations to which they had come. Therefore say to the house of Israel, So says the Lord God, Not for your sake do I do this, O house of Israel, but for my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations to which they have come.
No, just a moment. Let's stop here for a moment. And the main question is, what exactly is this? How or what exactly is the situation of the of this thing that the Hebrew nation, uh, yes, what exactly is happening? And it's written down, by the way. People don't know how, it's a bit hard how to read it, okay? But let's see Rashi for a moment. Let's jump to Rashi. Rashi is explaining it very nicely. I think it's Rashi, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is. And they profound. How do you say it?
Profaned my holy name.
Profaned my holy name. Okay, please.
It says that Rashi says they lowered my honor. And what is the profanation? In that their enemies said of them, these are the people of the Lord, and they have come out of his land, and he had no power to save his people and his land.
It's so strange to hear those words nowadays. What exactly is the meaning of this? This God, he didn't have the possibility of stopping them from being outside from their land. Today, to speak in those words, it's so, I will say, in our secular world, okay, to say those words is nothing. It's hard to understand it. This is what is written down in the verses. Okay, it says here. Let's look again in verse number 20. Okay, what exactly is this? The profaned of my holy name is that they said unto them, "Those are the people of the Lord of God, and they have come out from His land." Rashi is explaining. He didn't have the possibility of keeping them in their land.
As if their actions tied Hashem's hands, yeah.
Yes, but to say those words in the modern world, it's a bit hard to understand. But let's stick for a moment to the principle. Till now, what we saw, it's some sort of explanation. The Hebrew nation behaved not in the right way, therefore God kicked them out from their own land. And this was a very big thing, profaned the holy name. And because of this profanation of the holy name, God is going to do redemption. And let's read in verse number 22, and then we also read Rashi, 22 and 23. Okay?
Okay, 22. Therefore, say to the house of Israel, so says the Lord God, not for your sake do I do this, O house of Israel, but for my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations to which they have come. Rashi says, not for your sake, etc., is the salvation that I shall save you by. 23 says, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the nations, which you have profaned in their midst, and the nations shall know that I am the Lord, is the declaration of the Lord God, when I will be sanctified through you before their eyes.
Please read Rashi for a moment.
Rashi says, and I will sanctify my name. Now, what is the sanctification? I will take you from among the nations.
Okay, we're starting to realize what's happening here. Yechezkel is describing what we saw in the last 100 years.
Right.
That the Hebrew nation, what is the word Holocaust? Last week we mentioned this
remembrance,
Remembrance Day of this Holocaust. What is the word Holocaust? It's again from the holy name. Okay, now this is what God is doing. God is taking out us from the 200 countries and bringing us back to our homeland. Okay, and this is one of the ways of sanctifying His name. And then let's read also 24 and 25 and 26. Okay, this is what we need to read, and this will finish.
Yep.
Please.
24, for I will take you from among the nations and gather you from all the countries, and I will bring you to your land. And I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you will be clean. From all your impurities and from all your abominations will I cleanse you.
You can
26, and I
skip
will
Rashi. You can skip Rashi. You can skip Rashi. It's,
yeah,
okay,
26,
please.
and I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh.
Now read Rashi for a moment. A new heart.
A new heart is an inclination that has been renewed for the better.
And let's read 26, 27 and 28.
27, and I will put my spirit within you and bring it about that you will walk in my statutes, and you will keep my ordinances and do them. Then will you dwell in the land that I gave your fathers, and you will be a people to me, and I will be to you as a God. 29, and I will save you from all your uncleanness, and I will call to the corn, and it will multiply. And I will not decree famine again over you.
Fair enough. If we will summarize for a moment what Cheskel is explaining here. He says like that. He says, you behaved not in the right way, the Hebrew nation. Therefore, I took you out from your land and I spread you over in a lot of countries. And then there was some sort of a Chilul Hashem, okay? My name got in a bad shape. Everybody is speaking badly about me. So not because of you, I'm going to bring you back to your homeland, but because of my name. I'm going to bring you back from all of the countries. And then also I'm going to throw some sort of a pure water on you, so you will become much more in the right way of behavior, like I'm asking you to do. This is what we read till now, right? Right, Bart? This is what we read. Fair enough. Okay. Does it says here that at the beginning, the state of Israel will be very frum? No, it says that we will come back to our homeland, and then there will be some sort of, we'll say, I don't know exactly what will happen, how exactly it will happen, but after that, more and more we will become with more realization of God, and we will behave more and more in the right way. But it's not saying anything about being very religious in the beginning. It's only describing some sort of I'm calling it in Hebrew Chilul Hashem, okay? It's the name of God is being destroyed. The name of God is being not being honored in the right way. Let's jump for a moment. I didn't explain yet exactly what is the meaning of the name of God. First of all, I want to show that the same thing is being described also in Deuteronomy, okay? Deuteronomy. So let's jump for a moment. I'm not going to close this. I want to show this also here. I think it's 31, just a moment. Now, in 30. We need to read the first 8.
Okay, from Deuteronomy 30, first 8 verses.
Yes.
Okay. And it will be
just a moment. Dan, just a moment. Before you're reading it, I'm asking you to look and to see how also we're speaking here about 2 stages. First of all, we're coming, and then it's going, or the explanation of the redemption is going to come second time, but only after we're still here in Israel. Please. Now.
Okay, verse 1. And it will be when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, that you will consider in your heart among all the nations where the Lord your God has banished you to, and you will return to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and you will listen to his voice according to all that I am commanding you this day, you and your children. Verse 3. Then the Lord your God will bring back your exiles, and he will have mercy upon you. He will once again gather you from all the nations where the Lord your God has dispersed you. For even if your exiles are at the end of the heavens, the Lord your God will gather you from there, and he will take you from there. 5. And the Lord your God will bring you to the land which your forefathers possessed, and you too will take possession of it, and he will do good to you, and he will make you more numerous than your forefathers.
And now look, amazing what's happening. and
And
I
the
will say
Lord your
6,
God
7,
will
and 8. Yes.
circumcise your heart and the heart of your offspring, so that you may love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul for the sake of your life. And the Lord your God will place all these curses upon your enemies and upon your adversaries who pursued you. And you will return and listen to the voice of the Lord and fulfill all his commandments, which I command you this day. Wow.
So before, we just came back to our homeland. Now, only in the second stage is that we're also fulfilling all the commandments. It doesn't say anything about fulfilling all the commandments before that. I will say it like that. The big redemption that the people of Israel came back to their homeland from all those 200 countries after 2,000 years, this is the biggest redemption of the world that is showing that we can do redemption as a nation, not only on the personal level. And the second stage is that God is throwing on us this pure water. And because of that, as it's also said here in verse number 6, and the Lord God will circumcise your heart. Here it says this word, this verse. In Ezekiel it says that he will give us a new heart, right? It's the same thing. And this is the second stage. Now, what I want to say, mainly, if we're looking today, what happened in the 2,000 years that the Hebrew nation were in the exile? The whole world claimed against us that we killed God, right? This was the main thing that the world always said, that we need to be punished. Why? Because we killed God. I know. We all know Jesus is not God. Jesus was a man, fair enough. He was maybe even a great man, maybe even he was even a prophet. I don't know. I don't think he was a prophet, never mind. But he was a man that did or brought the message of the Messiah to the world and tried to bring love to the world, whatever it is. But he wasn't God. But the whole world basically claimed against us that we killed God. You know why? Because when we are not sitting in our homelands, for the rest of the world, the meaning of this is that God, his appearance of the prophecy, of the appearance of God in this world is reduced only to the places where the Hebrew people are there. So the feeling is that the name of God, what happened to the name of God? It went away. It's a very big thing of what we call Chilul Hashem. This is the meaning of what happened in the last 2,000 years. And what is happening since the Hebrew nation came back to their homeland and the blessings that it's giving to the world. And now we're moving in those years now, okay, in the last, since the Corona, but never mind, it didn't start with the Corona, it started with the 7th of October. There is a very big debate here in this world between good and evil. And the question is, are they going to change their way, the evil side, okay, of the world, or they're going to be destroyed? So at this point of time, the main thing that happened or is happening is that we need to do the job of destroying the Hamas, destroying the Hezbollah, destroying, things in Iran. I'm not saying that we did this big event in the ports yesterday, but I'm not denying. It's not. I don't know. I'm not part of it. Okay, but even if it was the Hebrew nation, it's not. It wasn't me. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that. I don't mind to be part of those things, but we need to understand. This is what Yechezkel is saying to us, that the name of God is being reduced. The name of God is being, how did you say it, God? You said it before that. How do you say this word again? Profaned. Okay, the name of God got profaned. This is how you say it, right? The name of God got profaned. And the
Right.
people
So
are
now,
saying, you know,
now you're
all
trying
over
to
the world
sanctify.
that we killed God. What?
Now you're trying to sanctify Hashem's name.
By coming back to our homeland, automatically the name of God being sanctified. Yes, exactly. Now, as more and more that we also giving blessing to the world, this is the next stage. Also, this is what happened with Pharaoh. You remember that? We spoke about this. When Pharaoh is sending the Hebrew nation, he's saying, and bless me also. Don't forget to bless me. Why? Why? Just because of that, because he understands, just like God said to Abraham, that our nation is going to bless the world. Look at all of the things of the high tech that the Hebrew nation is involved in Israel. And you will see how much it's blessing the world in almost all of the fields. But it's not only from this side, it's also from the side of the sanctify of everything that we do here. And the next stage that we're starting to move on. You know, when someone is giving birth, when a lady is giving birth, and we have here Martina that you can um, witness that, it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of hard things, but at the end there is a baby. Okay, we are now more or less in the last year and a half with this big war that we have. It's a lot of pain, it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of bloodshed. We also losing today. We had, unfortunately, we buried 3 very important soldiers that they were killed in Gaza yesterday. But something new is going to going to go out from this situation. And this is the Independence Day of the Hebrew nation. The Independence Day of the Hebrew nation is basically bringing to the world, as it said in before we said it in Exodus, right? We said it in Exodus that God is saying to us that we're going to be the holy nation, and then we're going to lekadesh Shem Shamayim, to bring the name of God to a big appearance in this world. Everybody will see him. This is what we're celebrating in the Independence Day of the Hebrew nation. I think it's this is how we read those verses, not from today, also in the last 2,000 years. I think I said to you more than once, I had a lot of questions with myself when I was a bit younger. And I asked myself, I know my grandfather, okay, that lived before the First World War. And the Turkish people were here for already 400 years. And I asked myself, after 2,000 years, almost 2,000 years, why did they have any, I will say, dreams that the prophets of bringing back to the Hebrew nation to the homeland will happen? Think about this for a moment. After 2,000 years, still where they had this vision, and every year in the night of Leila Seder, what we call, okay, the Passover night, they finished this long night with a song, Leshana Haba B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. And I asked myself, for 2,000 years they were singing that. My grandfather, when he was 8 years old, 9 years old, before the First World War, okay, the First World War, where the Turkish were here already for 400 years, and they didn't let anything of the Hebrew nation to come here. They didn't let the Hebrew people to come to the Hebrew land. They said to them, no, you're not coming. The big sultan from the empire of Turkish didn't let. Nobody knew that after 5-7 years after that, there will be this big war, First World War, where the England will take this land and they will say it's not for us. We want to give this to the Hebrew nation. Nobody knew the future, right? But it happened. From where did they have the courage? From where did they have the vision to say it will happen? Don't forget also that the Christian all over Europe, okay, in those days also said to them, it won't happen. We won't let you go out. It won't happen. And then after a few years, after suddenly starting to move, we have the Nazis who are saying, it's a big fight between the the conscience in this world. And as long there will be one Jew here in this world, there will be conscience, and therefore we need to demolish, we need to kill all the Jews. I don't know from where they had the power in those horrible, 28, 30 years of those two big wars, to think that they will be able to build up a country and to fill the prophets of Yechezkel, of Deuteronomy, okay, that the Hebrew nation will come back to the homeland. I don't know. I really don't know. But today, I know two things. First of all, I'm celebrating the Independence Day, and I'm urging you to celebrate, to celebrate with us, to join us, with this, to have joy, because it's showing that there is also redemption to the world, not only to the Hebrew nation. We are the beginning of the arrow, the most point of the arrow, but everybody else is with us. And secondly, if the first part of the prophecies became to life, also the second part of Ishaya, that he is saying that the amount of let's show this, that he says that the Messiah will come, and let's read it. It's something that we need to read, okay? Ishaya chapter 2, then only, it's enough to read. No, let's read four verses, not 3, 4, please.
All right. The word that Isaiah son of Amos prophesied concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall be at the end of the days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be firmly established at the top of the mountains, and it shall be raised above the hills, and all the nations shall stream to it. And many people shall go, and they shall say, Come, let us go up to the Lord's mount, to the house of the God of Jacob, and let him teach us of his ways, and we will go in his paths. For out of Zion shall the Torah come forth, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge between the nations, and reprove many peoples, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift the sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
So if the first, I would say like that, amazing. And I'm saying, if the prophecy of Deuteronomy and also Cheskel started, and we also see the beginning of this, okay, where a lot of people are starting to learn from the Hebrew nation, okay, the values, whatever it is, and the Torah, and they're starting to listen to what we have to say. I'm sure also that verse number 4 will come. I know that now it's hard to say, I know that now it's hard to say that, especially in the days that the war, and suddenly also we hear about what's happening between India and Pakistan, and we see what's happening between the United States and Iran, whatever it is. It's a bit hard to see it. But if the first part of the prophecies came alive, also this part of the prophecy will come alive. And this is why we must celebrate the Independence Day of the Hebrew nation, because it's not only for the Hebrew nation. It's Independence Day of the whole world, that we can come to this stage of having the right, I will say, attitude, and bring the glory of the name of God with learning. Okay, as also the Maimonides is saying, that at the end of the days, people will be more involved of learning the words of God and understanding and becoming partnership with him, as we said in the beginning. We're not in a competition with God. We are the partners of God to bring the world to a better stage. If there are any questions, this is the time. I raise my case, as we always say. Yes, Bart, please.
Well, I think you have partly answered the question. My question was, in this process that Hashem is doing, what is the implication for the Bnei Noach?
It's a different prophecy, okay? And this prophecy, from time to time, I'm showing it, and I will share this again. The prophecy is also from Ishaya. I think it's a, let me, I hope I remember that in the right way. I'm not 100% sure that it's here. No. Maybe it's the last chapter. Just a moment. It's 65, 66. Just a moment. No. I will say it by heart, okay, and then we need to look. I will try to find it in a moment, okay. What we say basically is that everything is going to move one stage ahead. Okay, I will call it like that. The whole world are going to join the Hebrew nation, not to become Jewish. We want. This is one of the main differences between the Hebrew nation and the rest of the other, will say, religious. We're not religious. We're not religion. Okay, we're a nation, but we are the only nation that we don't want to occupy others. Okay, if the French people, when they occupied Algiers in the First World War, we mentioned the First World War before, and then they started to teach all the Algerian people, kids, that the Gallis were their forefathers. This is not something. Or the England people, they managed to capture the Indian people, and they decided for them that they're all supposed to be very more, all the culture of the Indian is to throw is very, let's throw it to the garbage of the history, and they're all supposed to become English people, okay, with the English manners. The Hebrew nation is the only one who doesn't. It's not the aim of the Hebrew nation that everybody will become Hebrew people. Okay, each nation is supposed to save their own identity, and there are few identities in this world, not one. But there are also few moral moral behavior that of the simple level that can bring us to live together, one with each other, without any fights. And the moral side, this is the side that the Hebrew nation is holding and teaching. And there are a lot of people who are joining the Hebrew nation. Now, it's not only people, it become also nations that will join the Hebrew nation. And then we'll build up a different world. And all the world will move one stage above. They will become on the level of the Hebrew nation, not doing all the commandments of the Hebrew nation, okay? But they will come to another stage. And also the Hebrew nation will move up, one stage. And the priest of the Hebrew nation will move up one step. And we will get all of us much closer to God in the way of thinking and the way of behaving. I will say the main trick here is that people will be less and less selfish, thinking about themselves, and will think about the others. And this is the trick, one simple trick that can change all the world. Because the main issue is that I want more money for myself. I want more food for myself. I want more missiles for my army, When people are looking on themselves, this is where everything is starting to be with a big of a problem. But if I'm thinking, first of all, for others, not for me, I'm looking for others, to help others, whatever it is, this is where everything is starting to become different. Think about this. If all of the world will decide to change the shift, I want that you will be in a much better place. I want that each one of you will be in a better place. And also all of you are going to think like that. So the world is going to be in a different place, right? But we are
So
not there.
can I conclude by saying that the Bnei Noach are the firstlings, the first?
Yeah. The Noahide are the first stage that is studying it, and then it will spread over, like stones in the water, that is doing the cycles. So I know that now that it's a bit hard to see it because we have connection with the, say, 15,000 people a week or something like that. Fair enough. It's hard to see it because we're speaking about 8 billion people. But, suddenly it will happen, It's a bit more than 15,000, but never. It's even if we have 30,000 people that we have connection with. It's 30,000. It's not a lot. Okay, we're looking for the next one in Belgium. Okay, that is close to you. It's an hour and a half drive. Fair enough, but we'll manage to progress. Okay, if the prophets said something, and we see that the first that the first stage started, so the second stage will come also. In a moment, let me look for a moment. I will show you exactly the verse. Okay, just let me see for a moment. Here it is. So it's 60, no, 56. I know. 56. Just a moment, let me share the screen. Here it is. Shaya, chapter 56, you see? Read verses 3, 4, and 5. It's enough. I know what, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, Isaiah 56, verse 3, 4, 5, and 6.
3 till 6, please.
Now let not the foreigner who joined the Lord say, the Lord will surely separate me from his people. And let not the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For so says the Lord to the eunuchs who will keep my Sabbaths, and will choose what I desire to hold fast to my covenant. I will give them in my house and in my walls a place and a name better than sons and daughters, an everlasting name I will give him, which will not be discontinued. 6, and the foreigners who join with the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, everyone who observes the Sabbath from profaning it, and who holds fast to my covenant.
And another last one. 7 also, please.
7, I will bring them to my holy mount, and I will cause them to rejoice in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be acceptable upon my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples.
So it's not speaking only about the Hebrew people, and don't speak about the Shabbat. You can explain that, okay? It's not saying that the Noahide people are supposed to keep a full Shabbat, not at all, even though they have the possibility. This is not the issue now. The main issue is to speak about the foreigners, and you can say that it says that it speaks about for all people. It's not speaking only about the Hebrew people. Those are the people who are joining God through the Hebrew people, through the Hebrew nation. Okay, so this is you ask what is the mission of the Noahide. So we're moving ahead, and with the technology that we have today, it will grow up. The technology is good. Vince, it's good to see you. Yes, fair enough. Dan, we lost you. Everything is fine. We can't see you. Okay. So I'm urging everybody to celebrate with us the Independence Day of the Hebrew nation. It's a celebration for the whole world. By the way, in the same year that the Hebrew nation got their freedom, there is something like another more than 40 countries, okay, got the redemption also. Okay, in Africa, even India, okay, on the same day that we got redemption, or that we got, our own possibility for holding our country, and the England went out. It's the same day that also in India, the England went out. There's a lot of people, a lot of nations who got redemption in the day that the Hebrew people got redemption. And straight ahead, when the Pope started to say that the soldiers of the Hebrew nation are the evil people here in this world, so everybody, he died. That's it. Passed away. We need to understand the issue here is very much good or bad. That's it. We're in a stage that we need to decide where we are.
For sure, yeah. We've
It's
had
not-
a good
it's not-
turnout today,
it's not the
Rabbi.
next
Lots
book.
of people.
What?
Lots of people on Facebook have viewed this so far, and I just was dealing with some Christian missionary on our YouTube page. So yeah, all good.
Tell him that we are not speaking about any debates. If they won't come back and they won't do repentance, the kids will. So we don't have any fights.
Yeah, in their own world
Could
for
I
sure.
ask something?
Yes, please, Martina.
Ben?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Rabbi, you mentioned an article last time that you had written. I don't know on what forum do we find that. It was several pages you had shown last time.
He emails them out sometimes. So if he has your email.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Share your email in the chat. Share it in the chat so I will see that I have your email.
Okay.
Basically, the truth is, I'll say I'm putting it, and there's a reason why I'm doing it on the LinkedIn platform. You know the LinkedIn platform?
Yeah, I don't have LinkedIn. I was on WhatsApp, but that disappeared for some reason.
Fair enough. But on the link of the LinkedIn, you can go inside. Also, if you don't have the LinkedIn
okay.
link, you can see it there. The reason why I'm doing it there, I'm telling you, Dan, you want to close for a moment the screen from the internet?
Do you want me to actually shut it down?
No. The reason why I'm doing it.
Thank
you. You got her email, Rabbi? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you were muted, so nobody out there in the public had heard that last statement. So that's awesome. I don't use LinkedIn anymore. My problem is when I got my dan.ca Brit Olam community email, I switched from an email I had used for more than 14 years, and just don't have access to the old one anymore. So, yeah. Blessings, Rabbi. Beautiful message. Are you aiming for a class next week?
Hopefully, yes. Yes.
Okay, let me know if you're not. So I like to know in advance so I can advertise, because I know once Shabbat hits, I can't connect with you for a period. So it's a joy, always a joy to be with you. And my phone just won't stop binging. Busy Sundays for me, crazy. Anyways, I'm exhausted, so I've got to take a break, and I plan on broadcasting Rabbi Moshe Shulman later on today, the Noahide Path. He's beginning his survey of Tanakh. Yeah, excellent material I've sat in the last couple sessions, and it's just, so we'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 p.m. Pacific. I think that's about 1 in the morning in Israel. Going to be broadcasting that on the 7 Noah channel as well. So, till next week, we will be back with more of our Chavruta sessions live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. Till then, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you very much.